Alrighty, my darlings, we are back to share what we did in episode 5. In episode 5, we made for me, for little old me. I'm always watching people posting all these cool little projects that they make from their handwoven fabrics. I think Unique Astrid was making them when she was 7. And it was like, wow, well, if she can do it, if Astrid can make a little bag and she's only 7, I think I probably should be able to do it. But it was always a little daunting. And finally, I asked my dear friend, Teresa Mattison, to come to Salt Spring and spend a few days teaching me how to fall in love with my 50-year-old sewing machine that I bought secondhand at Fibers West, maybe? No, I think it was a Knit City trade show 25 years ago. I bought it secondhand simply because I thought the case was really cool. I just fell in love with the red case. So I got a real good deal. I bought it, but always been a little nervous of it. And Terry has taken away all of that. And she created 2 wonderful episodes. I did it because I figured that I can't be the only one who's intimidated by putting a zipper in a little bag. I can't be. And it's turned out that I am not. We have had so many thank yous about this episode, with people just all of a sudden having the information that they needed to make a whole bag, a little pouch, or a project bag. So those were the 2 things. And I asked Terry to take pictures of every single step of the way, because I need to watch someone do something from the beginning to the end. I don't learn by someone going on a video showing a line here and a line here, and then you come back and everything's sewn. I learn by watching the artisan go through the entire process. So I wanted to do that and give that to me as a gift, so that I had a video I could go back to again and again and again. And it turns out so many of you out there have enjoyed it too. And so thank you for letting me know. Anyway, it is, I'm not kidding, step by step with visuals. Sometimes the bag changes in the middle of the project because, oh no, here it's pretty good. Because we went back and did things afterwards. It's a new bag. Also, how to put in snaps. If you don't want to put in a zipper, there's alternatives. And so we made all these super cool little bags. Here's my little feller. Here's the one that we made on camera. And this was all left over from tea towel warp. I have tons of fabric. It all started by me actually going through my piles and piles and piles of handwoven fabric, which I almost sent off to Astrid at one time, thinking, oh, she'll be able to use these. But I didn't. I never got around to it. I sent it all to Terry, and she made all of these little bags from those pieces. This one was her own fabric that she designed, that little set right there. But she made the little pouch, and she made the project bag. And Terry really likes to have a bag that's firm, that sits on the table and stays there and doesn't flop and fall over. So we learned how to do the base in 3 pieces, or create the bag in 3 pieces, to have pull tabs on it, all kinds of things. It was fun, super inspirational, and I'm seeing all kinds of bags posted on Instagram and Facebook now. So thank you to everyone who's doing that, because it's so much fun to see what everyone's doing. So there's a PDF for the little pouch, and there's a PDF for the project bag, and they both have pictures of every single step along the way. Who thought that you might need to have a 24-page PDF on how to make a little pouch? But let me tell you, I love it. We try and give you everything we possibly can. So I'm not going to teach you how she sewed this, but I am going to talk a little bit about some of the fabrics. This was left over from, I think, season 6's Turn Twill episode, where we explored all kinds of different tie-ups. So that was from a previous episode. These pieces here were from leftover pieces where I wove the color and weave gamp from season 2 in just solid stripes. This was from this episode. It was from the same piece of cloth. We just cut out a different section. This was from an M's and O's project. There we go. This little bag here was made with leftovers or my test samples from the 4-shaft deflected double weave project that we did in season 8, where I did not overlay color and weave. We just looked at it structurally, and we did it with a 4-shaft threading on an even number of threads, 1 2 1 2 3 4 3 4 for one side of the piece of exploration, and the center section I made it an odd number of threads. So the units were 1 2 1 2 1 4 3 4 3 4. So we had the even units on these two sides and an odd number of units in the center, which meant that we could relate it to Huck. But it was deflected double weave in the tie-up. So all these things that we try to tie together structurally, but then overlay graphic and design possibilities. And heck, why not just weave this without dark and light and see what happens? Pretty darn cool. So here we have more lacy bits happening on this side, but you can see the symmetry in this threading. Always playing with ideas. This pouch was super exciting to me because I looked at it and I went, oh, that's from our overshot episode. So back in season 5, we did this was our very first exploration of overshot. We had a simple one-colored warp with little charcoal selvages. And of course, when I'm playing with it, before I actually weave the piece or the pieces, I think we wove 5 different variations on this threading. I was playing with all kinds of different yarn. Now, I had never fulled any of this fabric that I sent to Terry, and Terry wanted to make bags out of it, so she took the entire pile of fabrics that I sent her and threw it all in the washing machine. And when the fabric came out, this was here. Here I was playing around with this threading, but I was doing it with Tussa silk as the weft. And here I clearly use merino in the weft. And I use merino I use silk for the tabby pick and merino for the float. And this was another piece as well. So the whole thing felted down. Is that not cool fabric? So these are the things that happen in my life where serendipity gets in the way and sends me something. So it's an exploration. It was could be seen as a mistake, and oops, Terry was a little bit upset that she had done this to this fabric, but I see this as an opportunity for exploration. And so I'm going to go back to overshot in a future season and explore ways that we can use those blocks with shrinking and non-shrinking threads in overshot to create fabrics like this, because there is a lot of potential here. Look at the front and the back. That, to me, is screaming for exploration. So, this one, actually, you know what? I'm looking at this one and I can see that there was log cabin built into it. So we did another episode on overshot in season 7. Season 6 we did it on a plain warp, and season 7 we did an overlay of color and weave on overshot. And so that's where this piece is from, and I can tell that because we've got dark light here. It was threaded into our warp on top of the units. All the ways that we can play with these simple ideas. Overlay, overlay, overlay. Anyway, this is not so much about the bags, but then these pieces of fabric, these bigger pieces of fabric, were leftovers of me playing with all kinds of ideas when we overlaid color and weave on top of summer and winter. We did that in season 6, or season 7. That was season 7. Yeah. So season 7, we looked at all the unit and block structures that we studied in season 6, but we came back to them a year later and we overlaid color and weave ideas on top of them. So this was from the summer and winter, and there was all kinds of things that I tried and tested, all kinds of places I pushed it, and Terry has taken all of those little sections from the fabric and turned it into a bag. So, there is the pocket on the inside. Can you see that? Let's see there. And we can see the color and weave, the sort of log cabin that was overlaid on top of the summer and winter. On 4 shafts, this side of the fabric I was using boucle, exploring what would this fabric look like in boucle. Everything for me is an exploration. And what was so exciting to see Terry use those explorations and turn them into these very useful tote bags. And next year she's coming back to do more, and we're going to explore tote bags and inner pockets and outer pockets and plackets and all kinds of other things. This was the last piece that we had, and these were the offcuts from Turn Tackete, our 4-shaft exploration of Turn Tackete, which we did in season 7 as well. And I love how she's used the fabrics from different places and made little pockets on both sides, highlighting all these things we try. And the inside is just a piece of plain weave. Nice little pocket in there in plain weave. So that's all I've got to tell you about this episode, but it was a lot of fun. And if you too are jonesing to make some little pouches and get some confidence back around the sewing machine, this episode is for you, because I am rooting for Terry through the whole thing, sitting beside her.